going to read to you some of our holydays. A lot of people that write emails don't, I'm trying to turn it on. They don't like me, and that's okay. They're going against the grain of what they've heard in their churches. Brian Sanders from Pittsburgh. We're on TV all over the country, about 300 towns and cities or so. I don't know exactly. I guess at it all the time. And we're on TV and all over the country. And these are the people that write to us. Brian Sanders from Pittsburgh writes, "Hello, Jim. We're still watching and following the ministry, and we miss you, Mary and the Grace and Truth family. We love you all. I have a question about wedding rings. Is it wrong for us to wear them? And looking forward to your answer, Brian Sanders from Pittsburgh." Well, it don't bother me. I don't wear one because they bother me. I can't put rings on my fingers. I twist them all the time, and that's kind of like should you have a tree in your yard, particularly a fir tree. Those were worshipped in the ancient world as the tree goddess, the Ashtaroth, and I'm not going to complain if you wear a wedding ring to show that you're married. They say that it comes out of paganism, but you can wear one if you want. I'm not going to split hairs over that. Reverend Zachary Penter. First of all, no man is to be called Reverend. Reverend is the name of the Lord over there, and it's only mentioned one time in the Bible, and it's the exact same word as fear. So if you call yourself Reverend Penter, you need to be called Fear Penter. Fear. The word is Yahweh, Y-A-R-E. And we don't believe in calling anybody Reverend. I may be a nut, and you are, after you read this, but I've been taught that you don't have the Holy Ghost without speaking in tongues. Somebody lied to you, Zachary. It's not true. He that hath not the Spirit of God is none of his. Besides that, the tongues in the Pentecostal movement is not the tongues of the original text. I want to say it one more time. The word tongues is glossa and dialectos. Glossa means foreign language. Foreign language. And a glossary is a section of a book with words that are foreign to the average reader that you can look up. And then dialectos is the word dialect. They had a different dialect in every city-state. They had dozens and dozens of them. And these were Jews from every nation under heaven in Acts, the 2nd chapter. And they said, how here we have a man. They didn't say tongue. That was put in there by the King James translators. That was a word that meant language during the 1600s, 1600s in England. And they said, how here we have a man and our own dialect wherein we were born. And these were Jews from all over the world because the Jews had been scattered because they partook in Christmas, actually under another name, Bel in the Grove, or the Ashtaroth, the female deities. He says, you're just spreading philosophy. You're ignorant. Ignorant, Zachary. Ignorant means unlearned. Learn this. Watch my other DVDs on tongues and you will learn. I've got one DVD that's got 4 messages on tongues in it. It has nothing to do with what's going on in the Pentecostal churches. That's like saying you got to speak in a foreign language to go to heaven. No, you don't. Now, Yahshua King commented on apostate doctrines that all creatures are currently preaching. Correcting them, we look like fools. Be careful, old man. You're funny. You show pride because you know more than certain people. You're too smart, and you know more than people. The way you express yourself is showing lots of pride. No, I call down the lying, ignorant preachers that are out there. Besides, the scriptures were not written in Greek. You're not only ignorant, you're stupid. The New Testament was written in the Greek text, and we've got that in an interlinear Bible. I got one over here. Whether you like it or not, the original text, this is the original text in the Greek of the New Testament on the top line, and the English is under it. You don't write to me and tell me stuff that you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to make fun of you for being ignorant. This guy's written before and said much of the same thing. Besides, the scriptures were not written in Greek but Hebrew. They were not. The Old Testament was written in Hebrew. Where'd you get your information? Including the Yahshua covenant.
Don't even bother. Toss it out.
I've seen it in many of your videos. Pride precedes destruction. Remember that. You sound like the one that's full of pride. You're feeding people all of these lies. Calling idiots other pastors. Idiot is the word idiotes. It means unlearned. That's what they are. And if they are, calling ignorance other people is not the best way to bring others into truth. You don't have to bring them into truth. You tell them the truth. If they're elect, they'll hear. If they're one of God's predestinated family, they'll hear. It says with patience and love. Oh, you mean with hupomeno or hupomone and agape? Gosh, this guy is an idiot. Did you know that Jesus is not the name of the Messiah? I'm not even going to read the rest of this because you're real dumb. Name is the word onoma in the Greek. It's the word Shem in the Hebrew. It means authority. Thou shalt call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from sin. I'm not going to read the rest. This guy's, he's kind of an idiot. His name is Yeshua King. None. Ask, what does it mean? Not what most preachers and people think. Hi there. Just wanted to say you don't have to be 77 to get to where you are. God is transforming us 30-somethings year olds too. I'm 38 and have been all in for God for the past 4 years. It takes longer than that to get strong. Anguished by the world and turned off by sin. Watch out, because when you think you're turned off by sin, it creeps in on you. I too am ready to depart and go home and be with the Lord. I truly hate it down here and cry out to God often about how much I want to come home. Grace and peace to you. I think you're getting a little ahead of yourself. Greg Peach on Billy Graham, the world's most famous lying false teacher. The world loved him. I have 3 questions for you. Are you a judge? Absolutely. Judge righteous judgment. I don't want to give my opinions. Do you fall short from time to time, just like everybody does, and not receive grace? I've certainly received the grace of God at 80 years old. I've been a believer for about 73, 74 years. Was Billy Graham sent? Yes, he was sent to confuse and to deceive the people. He was a deceiver. His doctrines of accept Christ and sinner's prayer are not Bible. I'm not going to tell you what they are. And then Michael Rosh commented on ask, what does it mean? Jim, my family thinks I'm nuts or crazy because I say I'm tired of living and sick of this world. They just do not get it for some reason. You say things are just like I feel. I am 67 and see things completely different now. What did that I did not see when I was younger? Thanks for the truth, Mike in California. Thank you, Mike. Zahara commented on the doctrine of the devil, false teachers. They accept Christ and sinner's prayer is heresy. Actually, we woke Christians who have discovered the teachings of God's message in Christianity has been corrupted. We share the same beliefs with our Muslim friends. Well, I don't share anything with the Muslims. They believe that we are heretics and infidels and we need to be killed. Was 30 years a Christian evangelizing to others. Then I read the Quran. I've got a Quran. I know what it says. I've marked mine up. Quran mirrors the gospel Jesus preached. You're really messed up. The Quran says the infidels need to die. And they're talking about us. Churches are not following Jesus' teachings. I agree with that. But the enemy that infiltrated the church and changed the church's teaching, which is false teachers. Satan is now waging war against Islam to deter the Christians from knowing the truth. He must be Islamic. Because Christians would be the first to recognize the truth of God's message in Islam. Mister, you are twisted. Islam came about later to restore the gospel that Jesus preached and unite the various Christian sects and doctrines. This guy is crazy. You really are crazy. Michael Stanley writes, the day Jesus died was on a Friday, the day of preparation. He says Jesus was crucified on Good Wednesday. He was not. He was crucified on the preparation proskune. Proskune means paraskune. That is the word day of preparation. It's feminine gender, and that's what they call Friday. You hadn't paid any attention to anything I've been saying, have you? As he said himself, for as Jonah was in the 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Interesting that tradition can't even count. No, you can't count because you don't know how they counted. They counted a part of something as the whole. Jesus died on Friday somewhere between 12 noon and 3 in the afternoon, from the 6th to the 9th hour. And what they had to do was count that day from 6 o'clock back to 6 o'clock on Thursday, and from 6 o'clock to 6 o'clock Saturday evening, and then he rose from the dead on Sunday morning, and they counted 3 full days. It's like saying, I'm going to spend the day with Conwell. It don't mean I'm going to spend 24 hours. Steve LaPointe commented on apostate doctrines that all preachers are currently preaching. Correcting them, we look like fools. That was the title of the message. Yes, Jim, you're the only one I know who is teaching truth. I appreciate this message, and I continue to learn so much that I never got in Bible college or any church, which were Catholic, Pentecostal, non-denominational, Southern Baptist. I only listen to your teachings now, don't nobody else. So agape and phileo to you, Mary, and all you at Grace and Truth in Hendersonville, and all who continue to follow your teachings all around the world. I'll read a couple more of these. One Evangelista commented on spiritual Passover, one baptism. It is blood, not water. Wow. Your information is gold. Slowly, but surely I'm learning. Thanks, Godspeed. Thank you, Juan. And then Janica Hampton commented on Christmas is the sons of God marrying the daughters of men. Jim is sharp as a tack. Picks right back up where he left off. This is my favorite video, and I have watched many. Thank you, Janica. And then Ann Shirley Marshall writes to us on Men go to hell by the will of God. God hates all that he puts in hell with his sovereign will. Ann writes, sobering message, bless you for being obedient. I got a few more. I can't read them all. It'll take me too long here. Oh, that's some I've already read. All right. I'll put these over here. And we are on TV all over the country. We're on the internet 24 hours a day, graceandtruth.net. As of tonight, we will have 3,905 lessons on originals. All right. All right. We are on TV around the country. We're on in New York. We're on in San Francisco and Los Angeles, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Beaumont, San Antonio, Austin. We're on in Tulsa and Oklahoma City. We're all over the South, a whole bunch of small towns in Louisiana. And we're all over the Midwest, and be watching for us. We try to support our needy people. We got people that are in dire need, and we give them money each month. I've got some checks. I've got to address the envelopes tonight when I get home to send out to them. And we don't just talk about the poor, we help them. And if you want to be a part of this poor ministry, then make your check to Grace and Truth and put needy on the bottom of it, and that will all go into the benevolent fund to help these people. All right. We don't take offerings for the missionaries anymore because they ask us not to. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. It's very difficult starting a ministry preaching predestination in a foreign language in America, even preaching one in English on predestination and God doesn't love everybody and Christmas is pagan. You have a long time growing. I don't blame Scott and Dee at all because they're just struggling, and he's trying to start a paint company. And so I want you to know that, because a lot of people are still giving to he doesn't want offerings for the mission. So what I do when you send those, I put that into the benevolent fund. All right. We're glad to have Conwell and John and James and Diane. We're glad to have all y'all here for the picnic. Picnic, yeah. Well, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Well, we got our picnic this Saturday. We've got our chili cookout October the 5th of this year. If you don't know when the picnic is, this coming Saturday on the 29th, I don't know what else to say to you. All right. Well, let's go to the Lord in prayer.